Dude, the driveway's a mess right now. This is what you get with Chevrolets, by the way, or the S10 maybe. Drips and leaks and things all mad at me. All right, let's get this driveway back in order. Get the truck out, get the car in, hopefully. And I'd like to mention, this driveway was completely clean when I got the house. I have all these Chevrolets, and all they do is drip everywhere. Part of it's my own fault because everything just leaks oil, stuff gets spilled, but it drives me nuts. I try to sweep up whatever I can and clean it up, but this is just the reality. A lot of the times we have to work by ourselves. I've pushed countless vehicles in and out of this garage. It is a struggle, but I'm the only person there. So this is just what has to be done. I'm sure you guys can relate to a lot of this. You don't always have people that can just show up and help you. You just gotta get it done. But rewatching this video right now, looking at this car getting pushed into the garage, not under its own power, when this thing comes to life and we actually get this thing to rip out of this garage with that LQ9, it is gonna be all worth it. Just like many of you guys watching, I'm what's considered a jack stand warrior. I don't have a lift. Everything has to be done on jack stands, and things get really tough because when you're doing a transmission like this, there's no clearance to put the transmission on a jack and slide it under the car. This is the 6-liter LQ9 that came with the S10 because the 408 stroker was bad. We're running the F-body accessories on the front of it, and I took the liberty of ordering a carbureted intake because I think a lot of people want to see that. I'm going to be running the MSD 6014 box. This thing's actually pretty cool. I didn't really know much about it until I started doing some research. Pretty cool product, and I'm very excited to use this MSD box. We literally just got done talking about doing everything by ourselves. Thankfully, this time I had my buddy show up. This was a little bit of a challenge. I'm using LS universal mounts, and they're kind of like a no-name, and I've used plenty of no-name parts. That's not what scares me. They're slider mounts. So I really don't know where the motor's gonna be until the transmission's hooked up. Once I can line up the transmission with the cross member, then I'll know how much the motor has to slide forward or backwards. So you're kind of guessing, and it's just a little bit of a challenge, but I eventually got it. Now here's the part that starts to get interesting. Like I said, getting the transmission up on the jack, under the car, is really tough challenge. I know it's not that heavy of a 4-speed, but it was tough. I got everything kind of lined up, clutch is all set, nice and aligned, so I can slide the transmission right into the back of the motor. A few little adjustments. Our bell housing bolt's gonna go right in. And then we're gonna be on our way. Next thing I do, I get that transmission cross member in, and we're gonna have to slide everything back for that to line up. Here's where things take a turn in the video. This was something that we planned later on. I had no idea when it was gonna happen, but when Mike has the time, it's time to jump in and get it done. One thing I wanted to touch on quick, we had some drastic changes in the garage. The whole goal of this, I bought this house in 2020, and I got in just when things were starting to go up. I got the house at a great price, and I'm very fortunate that I could have bought the house in 2020 because things fast track 5 years later, 2025, houses are still expensive and really tough to come by. My whole goal buying this house, we looked at 26 different houses, and I wanted a house that, one, could be a stepping stone. We could do some good things here and possibly move on to the next one if our goals happen to change, or we have a house where everything is perfectly fine and we can stay in here for the rest of our lives. Looking at the garage was the most important part. I have friends that own houses and they don't have a garage, so they rent a shop somewhere, and it could be $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a month, and that's a ton of money. Start looking at what my best options were. There is room on this property to add on to this garage, but I can make the best of what we already have. Everything changed. My longtime family friends over at Mike's Home Improvement, they came by. What they did, they raised up all the ceiling joists, put a big LVL in there, so that supports everything. Some headers, front and rear. And then obviously they took 2 doors out, framed in an area for 1 big door. Another local guy, Northwest overhead door, he's the one that actually did the door. Everybody did amazing work, and Mike told them over at Northwest Overhead that I need this door up as high as I can possibly get, because the goal for this shop, now that I have the ceiling height, we're going to be installing a lift. I think a lift is exactly what this garage needs, and I've always wanted one. Finally made enough deals, put aside enough money, and I actually got a lift right by the garage over here. It's not installed, obviously. We have to check the concrete and do a couple other things to make sure this is going to be secure and safe. If not, we're cutting it out. But the most important thing is we're on the track to get a lift. The ceiling height, that was a huge thing because my overall goal, yes, I turned a 2-car garage into one oversized garage. The main goal of this, we will have our lift right here. I can have 1 car up. The door will still be able to go up over that 1 car that's up on the lift, and I can slide 1 under. We get snowstorms, rain, hail, who knows? I mean, we've even had tornadoes. So the most important thing is, if in a pinch I have to put 2 cars in here, I can. So that's why I went with the setup that I did. And they just knocked it out of the park. Of course, there's a lot of stuff in a small garage still. Need a Camaro Dash, hit me up. I got a spare. I don't need it. 79 to 81. I'm going to have my toolbox set up over here, freshly organized. And then all these motors, these all have homes. That's the 4.8 out of our 13.5 run at the track. That's going in the square body. This is a parts motor. It's a good block, but it needs to be cleaned. So I have that just in case we need some stuff or if we need a good rebuildable block. This motor just came in. My buddy Chris gave this to me. It is still undetermined what that is. He's like, hey, do you want an LS? Sure. We don't know if it's 4.8 or a 5.3. I will pull a plug and we'll verify that. But apparently, it was a runner. Then over here, last but not least, I don't really talk about this much, but this is a fully legit GM. I mean, it's not really NOS yet, but this is a legit General Motors 4853 block that I bought brand new. I bought that off of Summit. I think I paid $600. Actually, I bought that for this car. This car was originally supposed to be Turbo LS 4-speed. That was going to be the motor that we built, and obviously it's not built. But that is a brand new motor that we ordered off Summit because during the time, 2016-ish, they had an overstock of those motors. I don't know why. Nobody wanted them. You could have got them for peanuts. The 4853 block and the 6-liter block, they were stocked straight from GM on the Summit website. In 2016, I didn't have a lot of money. I would work on the cars at the shop, and my boss would let me scrap all the stuff. The rotors, the bad engines, all that stuff. So I scrapped enough stuff to finally have enough money to buy that block. And, you know, we haven't done anything with it. It's nothing I'll ever sell. But I'd like to do a nice motor with it one day, but we're not there yet. We have our 408 stroker. That's actually got to get together soon. I got to order some parts for that. Besides being unorganized, we definitely have some more room. There's plenty to work on. I'm planning a project in here that is going to require multiple people. So I wanted something where I could actually work on it with a bunch of people. Long story short, the 70 GTO that I have outside, I'm going to turn that into a burnout car for Cletus's burnout rivals. I have some wild plans for it, and I really don't think I've seen anybody out there with a real deal muscle car, let alone a 70 GTO, trying to whip around and do some burnouts. So I think that thing's going to be killer. If you like that kind of stuff, obviously drop a comment, smash the subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss it. But with all this being said, we got to get back on our car here. Main packaging for your MSD box. Once you take it out, this is what you're going to have. A nice little setup here. I'm sure you could load tunes or something on that. I haven't really looked into it. All right, let's get some light right here. Shout out to my brother. He bought me this thing. It's called a hot light. Thing's actually ridiculously bright. So, thank you, Carl. You really hooked me up with that one. And I did order some fancy new stuff. We got a little camera mount now, so I can move that all around. I want to talk about the rest of this MSD box. So, once you get everything out of the package, here's our MSD box. This is what's actually going to be running everything. Oh, there it is. I just didn't see it because I'm pretty much blind. So, there's multiple timing setups from factory in this. So, that's what the screwdriver's for. These are definitely for your coil packs. These, I'm assuming, are going to get grounded to the back of the cylinder heads. And then the other side is going to go to the MSD box or something. And I'm almost positive. Get it? Positive? That was pretty fun. Not really. I'm almost positive that this is going to be your power and your ground for the box. And then this setup over here, it's a bunch of different things. I don't know, we got a lot. So I'm not going to go and dive into every single thing because it looks like this is set up for multiple, maybe multiple different motors. I don't know. We're going to dive in. Let's get this thing installed. A lot of people don't wear gloves. Some people do. In cold weather like this, the gloves are definitely the way to go. Okay, so right away, I notice why it comes with multiple different cables. This will work with the 24X and the 58X. The other thing about this setup that people don't talk about, this thing has a built-in two-step. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have some inputs and outputs somewhere, and you can run a two-step on this, which is pretty killer. Realistically, I want this to be mounted somewhere on the fender well. All right, well, that's all wrapped up. About the toughest thing is going underneath, getting all the bolts. You can see them right there vaguely. Surprised it actually warmed up a little bit. The heater actually did enough to where it would shut off. All right, you're gonna go and get tucked in right there, because we don't even need you. Even though it goes somewhere. I don't know. That's obviously for your washers, but how it works, where it goes, this car don't have it. All right, so we're gonna have a bunch of excess wiring. This is our passenger side and our driver's side. So because we're doing things the way we are, and then I'm assuming this is your coolant temp sensor? Yeah, engine ECT, engine coolant temp. I'm gonna keep this thing as classy as we can. Oh boy. See, now I don't know. I would personally like to take the wiring and run it up through the intake. I don't know if we're gonna have clearance. I've got this coolant crossover set up here. I don't think... Ooh. Nope. No, we're not gonna have the clearance that I thought. Well, I'm also running a pretty low profile intake. I really wanted to take the wiring, put it under the intake, and come out like this. But looks like that's not gonna happen because of, I mean, I'd rather have the coolant crossover than some wires looking fancy. So it is what it is for that stuff, but it would have been nice. I'm probably going to, we have a lot of extra. You're gonna see some of this most likely looped back towards itself, and we're gonna have this all P-clamped and stuff like that. I could try and hide a little of it. I'd rather have extra than not enough. This motor could be in something totally different next week. We don't know. So I'd rather have the extra length because the box could be in a different spot. This is gonna go under this little setup here. Want that like that. Alright, that's in. So we can at least make that all nice and neat. We have our coil wires. We have our coil brackets we can utilize. Another ground setup. I'm gonna run this under as well. I'm gonna take that. Don't need that yet. We're gonna run this right down here. This connector. Get right in. So we'll have this set up just like this. I desperately need to go get some zip ties, which I don't have. Of course not. I had some that I bought, and I don't know where they went. So that's like that. That's cool. Very nice, nifty little setup here. This like I said, we're gonna end up having it probably to the firewall or something like that. I have space I could utilize. Oh, I've gotten myself many times with this. Where is it? Yeah. Take this old... she's still in decent shape. We'll let that one go. I want to make sure I plug everything up, because let's just say I've gone down this road before, forgot to plug things up, ran into some issues. Everything's going to be plugged up, all our little accessory ports and everything. Vacuum advance, obviously, I don't think it's going to work anymore. Side's good. I do want to change this one out from this ugly blue one. These are the old school AutoZone caps. These are the fancy, new and improved. Not really, I kind of just made that up, but it looks a little bit neater, so put that on there instead. When I say P-clamps, these are what I'm talking about. You can get these right at Harbor Freight. Very inexpensive. They really make the work look a lot neater. Thinking, this is the way we have this set up. Yeah, I like that. And I'm gonna have to wrap it up right there because that's all I have time for. Because I gotta get ready for work. Got the MSD box all mounted up. I'm gonna finish wiring this up in the morning. We have a busy year. We have a lot of projects. Right now we're working on this 79 Camaro. Then we have our 88 K30 coming in for a motor job. After that, 70 GTO burnout car. So I have a lot to do in a short amount of time. I'm only one person, but we're out here making it happen just like we do every day. And I wouldn't have all this ambition if I didn't have all the love and support from you guys. Thank you for all that. Please smash that subscribe button, like the video, share the videos. Make sure you also turn on the notification bell so when I post a video, you guys get notified, then you can go and check it out. The goal for 2025 is to create more long-form content. We have a lot of stuff in here that I think needs to be seen by the world. That is why I created this channel. I have a lot of family and friends that are all over the place, and they can't be with me and stay up to date with everything that I'm doing. So the easiest way to show everybody what I do is to make some videos. As usual, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. I got some wiring to do.